This is the Vision 79 podcast, where my friend Sander and myself, Mason, discuss recent developments in our business and personal growth. The name Vision 79 comes from our respective racing numbers. Sanders is 40, mine is 39, and we have similar ambition to progress in our business and personal growth. Many successful people have started small, just like us, but very few of them have documented their early years. They often say they wish they had, and given we believe in learning lessons from others, we intend to be the first to document our journey from start to finish. This is simply a documentary of our lives, and as such, we do not monetize these videos, so enjoy the ad-free content. I don't know if you've noticed, but YouTube has been playing like hella ads recently on monetized content. They will play 3 full ads per video. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Each episode is broken down into 3 segments, each covering our progress over the past week. We start by discussing our life updates, then our business updates, and lastly, we share any lessons we've learned over the past week. We have timestamps in the description to navigate these sections easily. Today is November 23rd, 2025, and we're recording episode 87. So, what life updates do you have this week?
Life updates are relatively short. But the first one I got down here is Sammy is in Nicaragua. She went to Nicaragua this week. She'll be gone.
With that pronunciation, sir.
Yeah, I know. We'll definitely have to be demonetized if I slip that one up.
Have you seen the girls who are like they're reading out their like Patreon names and they think a guy named Nick Herr.
Yeah.
And she says it like a little too fast.
Yeah.
I almost got Grace with that one yesterday.
But she's in Nicaragua enjoying it. Sending me photos. She rented a motorcycle, a dirt bike, and she's like going up to this volcano and like doing other stuff. She's doing all kinds of cool, fun stuff. But she's sending me photos. So that's a piece of life update. The other life update I have is my identity got stolen. My personal identity got stolen.
That fucking sucks.
And so someone with an iPhone 12 got a hold of my SSN and some other information and got into my Chase bank accounts. And the accounts got locked, so the money's stable, but I can't access it through my traditional portal anymore. It's a
Did Chase call you and say, "Hey, we're locking your accounts," or what?
They automatically locked it, and then they called me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of it was I had to reconnect all my subscriptions because they have to issue new cards as well.
Got it.
So now I'm getting emails all the time. Your subscription failed. Your subscription failed. This and that, right? And so going through redoing all that, actually figuring out what happened, I had to call Chase.
Yeah.
That was part of it, and also the payment for the Daytona tickets declined.
Oh shit!
And I had paid, I paid a lot. I had $40 left on a big bill.
Yeah.
And I got an email that was like, if you don't pay this by the end of the week, you'll lose your tickets.
Oh shit!
No refunds. Daytona is real.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I didn't know what to do. I was calling and trying to reach my rep, and I finally got a hold of someone.
Yeah.
And I was able to pay it, and all was good. But yeah, that whole process was it was relatively stressful. Like I didn't freak out about it. Like my management of the stress level has like greatly risen than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like it was just like a rolling loop of like this and this and this and this, and I was like I was just trying to navigate it as best I can.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much life update. Outside of, I assume you're gonna talk about the Lexus.
Yeah.
So
I
killed a mosquito with my.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got for life. What do you have for life
cool.
for us this week?
I've got a lot of stuff for life this week.
Cool.
I will go in chronological order. I woke up with a terrible headache on Monday, and I have determined I think it is my sleeping posture, because the way that I have been sleeping, I'm for years now living in the apartment. I find myself waking up with like not like a stiff neck, but like I can tell that my neck has been working all night and my shoulders are hunched up. And I don't know how to fix it. And I think that it was contributing to headaches. For a second, I thought it was a caffeine headache because that happens every once in a while. But then I realized I hadn't had caffeine all week, which is good for my bank account and probably good for my general health. That does not apply to today. I've already had a Red Bull today, but I'll get into that. But I think I figured it out. When I was getting braces when I was 12, I had some orthopedic surgeon x-ray me, and they told me that I had a military neck, and I didn't know what that was, and I'm just now remembering that they told me this, but a military neck means that you don't have the natural curve back in your spine where your head, like, balances. Like, your spine should curve a little bit this way, right? Mine is mostly straight, like
Mm.
that. And so what that means is when I'm laying on a pillow, instead of having a natural gentle curve back, it's straight. So then when I lay on a pillow, my neck is leaned forward even more, which works my traps and my neck muscles, which can contribute to tension headaches, right? Um, and I had noticed that on nights that I sleep without a pillow, I have less headaches in the morning. The problem is if you sleep on your side, you need a big pillow to fill up all this space. I have a big pillow. So when I sleep on my side, I'm good to go. When I sleep on my back, I am on that same big pillow and it like tilts my neck forward. So
Yeah.
I'm considering getting one of the fancy pillows like that is supposed to be better for your posture and maybe help get better sleep and wake up with less headaches. I haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet because finances were tight the past few months. But things are looking better now, maybe because I'm buying less caffeine. Um, so I might consider that as maybe like a Christmas gift to myself or something like that. But I've been trying to pay attention to my sleeping posture, and it's tough because I can focus on it when I'm going to sleep, but once I'm asleep, I'll wake up in a position where I have a headache, and I'm like, "Fuck! Like, how do I fix this? I'm asleep when it's happening, right?"
Yeah.
But I thought that was worth mentioning. I got a speeding ticket this week, which is my first speeding ticket since Grace graduated college, because I got pulled over leaving her graduation
Oh, yeah.
in Orlando. So this is my first speeding ticket using the radar detector ever. And the radar detector did its job. I was heading from beachside over the causeway into downtown Melbourne in the Camaro. And I wasn't going like crazy fast or anything like that. I was going the speed limit. But the Camaro is loud, so the cop must have seen me, right? He must have heard me and thought that I was speeding. But the radar pinned me like full K band. But I was going into downtown Melbourne and I was leaving like the downtown beach side. So I was like, there's probably a speed trap sensor somewhere because they
Yeah.
are always K band. There's the one on Pineda when you come off 95 right
Yeah.
there that's been there for years, right? And so I just figured it was something like that. I continue up the causeway. I crest the causeway. It doesn't go away. And I'm like, that's weird. Usually when you cross the causeway, like the signal starts to deplete a little bit, especially with those K band speed sensors, right? As soon as they're out of sight, they're out of mind. But this one didn't go away. And then a car pulled up right behind me at the top of the causeway, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I know what's happening here." And so he turned his lights on. He pulled me over. It's the first cop I've ever seen using K-band. I've never passed one stationary and noticed K-band. I've never been pulled over K-band. I've never seen one use K-band ever before.
I've only seen it beachside.
Yeah,
Only beachside.
I've seen cops beachside. I've only ever seen them use KA. I've never seen K, so I thought I was safe. He says that I was going 68 in a 45. I didn't see that myself personally. He wrote me a ticket for 54 and a 45. He was real cool. He pulled me over. I think that getting pulled over is more of an art than people think it is. And so I just want to capsulate here in recording the process when getting pulled over. You've seen the memes of like, what's the best way to give an officer your ID? And it's like, you should do it before he even gets to the car. Hand it to him like this,
Mhm.
like all that stupid shit, right? When I get pulled over, I immediately slow down and I put my turn signal on for the way that I'm turning, right? And I put my hand out the window like this. I'm like, hey, I'm letting you know I'm slowing down, right? And then once I pull over, I put my hazards on. Um, I sometimes I keep my lights on, sometimes I turn them off. It depends, right? But I always roll down both windows. I turn the car off, and then I put the keys on the dashboard, and then I put both hands on the steering wheel, right? Um, or if you're going particularly fast, right, I'll put both my hands outside the window, right? But this one, I just kept my hands on the steering wheel because I wasn't speeding. And then when the officer comes up to you, just wait for them to speak to you. If they ask you why you pulled them over, just say I'm not sure. Like don't admit to anything. Um, and then when they ask you for stuff, tell them where it is first, and then ask if they're comfortable for you reaching for it. So, for example, when he pulled me over, he said, "Hi, do you know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, "I think I might, but I'm not sure. Tell me." And he was like, "I got you speeding." And I was like, "Okay, I understand." He was like, "Do you have your license and registration?" I said, "Yes. My registration is in the glove box. My license is in my wallet in the seat behind my in the bag behind my seat. Which would you like me to reach for first?" And he said, get your license first. And I said, okay, I'm going to have to get out of the car to get my bag. And I have a firearm in the bag. It's my handgun. And he said, that's cool. Just reach for your license, not the gun. And I said, okay, got it. So I got out of the car, got my license. It wasn't an issue, right? Actually, I didn't even have my registration on me because I got my registration renewed last month and
Yeah.
it's still on my desk. I don't have a digital copy yet because I haven't put the new license plate on yet, so I haven't processed that paperwork on my end. So I didn't even have the up-to-date registration in the car. I also don't have my up-to-date insurance in the car because I had to switch my insurance policy when I bought the Lexus and I haven't printed out those sheets to keep in my Camaro records yet because I forgot I had also swapped the Camaro over. So he pulled me over and like basically he claims he caught me speeding. When he pulled me over, I was like, I don't have any of the paperwork you need, and I have a gun. But all of it went over really smoothly.
Good.
Because I moved slowly and methodically. I didn't get panicked or anything. And I asked him what he wanted me to do before I did it. And that's really important because everybody who I've met that gets upset about the way that police officers conduct themselves or the way that their traffic stops go, I find usually, dude, I got pulled over with Greg and I thought I was going to get shot with the way that Greg was moving around. He was twitchy. He was finicky. He was reaching for shit while the cop was coming up to the car. And I was like, hey, put your hands on the steering wheel, buddy. Don't move. Like fucking calm down, right? You're freaking
Yeah.
me out. And I feel like it's not really generally known. So I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
Um, what else do I have? I wore shorts to work on Friday. I went in on an off Friday and I was like, I'm fucking sick of the heat. I don't want to deal with this shit. I'm just going to wear shorts to work, right? So I wore shorts to work. No one was there because it's an off Friday. No big deal. But I texted my boss and I was like, hey, I enjoyed work a solid 40% more today than I do on a general day, right? What is the penalty for wearing shorts to work on a regular day? And he said, I'm pretty sure the policy is dress for your day. So as long as you don't see your functional manager or have presentations, I don't really know. So I might start trying to wear shorts to work and see what happens and see who tells me
You could always bring pants with you.
yeah, I could. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm so much more comfortable in the shorts.
Yeah. Just
Um,
wear shorts and then like have pants in your bag.
yeah, just see what happens. But I figure like if a director comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, you need to be wearing pants," I could say, "Why? I'm not paid to wear pants. I'm a T1 still. I'm a level 1 engineer."
Fair
Then
enough.
use that against them. But maybe if we get through the Q4 cycle and I again don't get promoted, I'm gonna wear shorts to work and tell people to fuck themselves. But I thought that was fun.
I like the memes that are I promoted myself by working less for the same pay. Those are good.
Yeah, I'm not quite there, but I will start working the way that I want to, and that includes wearing shorts and we're gonna get to flip flops.
You're gonna be building Legos on your desk.
I fucking dead ass, dude. I remember my first week at Northrop. I got like a small Lego set, and I was like, oh, I could build this at my desk at work. This is awesome. And then I thought about how that would be perceived, and then I was like, that would probably not go over very well, right? But at the time, I was young, probably overpaid and like underexperienced. But now I'm at the point where I'm contributing enough, dude. I got a message 2 weeks ago that was like, hey Mason, um, the mechanical engineering department has this big review that they're doing. It's like the one big review that they do for the whole like period of performance that we're on. And I forgot that we need slides from you. And you need to go contact 8 different engineering groups and build slides with them for our presentation. And if you could have it done in 2 days, that'd be great. And I was like, okay, neat. This is something that should be done over the course of 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wasn't included in any of those meetings. I don't know why they contacted me last second, but the lady who is running the show is very nice and we get along well. And so I was like, I'll take care of it. And I did take care of it, right? But like there's of all the systems engineers that I've worked with on my team, they would have underdelivered those slides or just like flat out fucked it up. And like we then went and those slides were presented and there were no notes. Everything was completely fine.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I see level 4 engineers doing, let alone level 1 engineers. So maybe I'll wear shorts to work on Monday. I don't know. Tomorrow. Another update. I went to Dutchy's wedding. Do you remember Dutchy?
Yeah. Yeah.
He did our welding for the SAE car.
Congrats.
Yeah. He and I have been close friends since 7th grade.
Mhm.
So he's one of my longest standing friends who I get on with really well.
Yeah.
I worked with him at his dad's steel fabrication shop when I was in college. And then he continued to follow his welding career there while I went to engineering. But Dutchy's a great guy. And the girl that he is with is wonderful too. She is very patient, takes good care of him, and he takes good care of her. I haven't been to a wedding. I realized I haven't been to a wedding in several years, and the weddings that I've been to have always been older adults, like in their 40s or 50s. I've never been to someone, and those are like, it's their multiple wedding. So
Mhm.
it's like, welcome back, everybody. Not, it's the first time ever, right? So this is the first time I've been to a wedding where it's the first time getting married and they're in like their 20s, right? Dutchie's our age, or Johan's our age.
Yeah.
Um, but it was interesting, and he's also very religious, so it was like a more Christian style wedding. Grace
Mhm.
went to a wedding for people who aren't religious in the summer, and so we were talking about the differences there because you like a wedding can mean so many different things. At the end of the day, it's a legal status. It's also a religious status, so you can kind of mix and match those things the way that you want to. And it was interesting to see the differences there. Um, cool, interesting in a good way, not interesting in like a judgmental way. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that I went. It was really important to Johan that I be there.
Mm.
And it was important for me to be there because I know it means a lot to him too. It was like going to the baptism, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, even if this isn't something that I would personally partake in, it's important to you, and so it's important to me, right?
Sure.
And Dutchie is one of those few friends that I would do one of those things for. Um, so I'll talk about that more later. That's part of my lessons learned this
Mm.
week.
Cool.
I also got a letter from my credit union saying that I have been good making my car payments on time. And they have a program where you're allowed to skip your December payment. Interest still accrues, but you can skip your December payment to help offset the cost of um, uh, presents, like Christmas presents, which is phenomenal because money was really tight past 2 months. It's a lot better this month. I've been way better about my spending.
Mm.
But Christmas always hits a little bit harder, right? Um, and so this is going to give me a lot of slack too. So I actually have my previous Rolex payment that I pushed off for you because I got you your birthday, Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have another one that I'm supposed to pay you next week. And so I'm probably just going to do them both at the same time, next podcast.
Yep. Yeah.
But that it's a $580 a month car payment. So like skipping one is fantastic. So
Yeah.
I'm super stoked about that. We also did work on the Lexus. Um, we did an oil change, oil filter change, cabin air filter, and engine air filter. Um, I have learned my lesson from the Camaro where I do the work and then I tell myself I'm going to log it later and then I never do. So I was really diligent. I prepared for it in advance. We ended up doing the oil change at 30,112 miles. If we had done it the weekend before, it would have been at like 29,100 miles. So it was either like 900 miles early or like 100 miles late. And so I opted for the late. But overall, we didn't like extend way past or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we're hitting really close to the service interval marks, which is a goal that I set when I got the car. Is I'm gonna even if even if a filter doesn't need to be changed, if the Lexus OEM maintenance logs say to change it, then that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what we did. The service
Yeah.
went really well. Thank you for letting me use your space
No problem.
parts. Um, I got brake clean in my eye. That was terrible. Um, but I recovered
Yeah.
well.
Brake clean sucks.
Yeah, I feel okay today though. I'm seeing all right, so good, no big deal. And then this is my last life update, right? I did not sleep much at all last night. I texted you when I went to sleep at like 6, and then I texted you again when I got up at like 11, and you're
Yeah.
still awake.
I was well, no, I went to bed around 7, and then I woke up. I tried to wake up around 9 for church, and I felt like I was gonna fall over when I was standing in the bathroom,
Mhm.
and so then I went back to sleep, woke up at 11, and then crashed back out on my phone, and then woke up whenever I called you 110, something like
Yeah,
that.
around 1.
Yeah, and so I was late today.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Ugh.
Super spotty sleep. I get it. I get it
Yeah,
because I was up
I
when it
feel
was this too.
atrocious this morning. Ripping headache, but
I feel good, but I think it's because I've gotten good sleep the past few nights, and so I was prepared for like a 5-hour sleep evening. But I was not planning on doing a 5-hour sleep easy. Here's why I did it. So I've been giving you incremental Formula One updates as our podcasts have gone on.
Mhm.
Championship has been on, championship has been off, right? Max was down 104 points on race 15 out of 24. That's an impossible gap, but he started to close it. Oscar started underperforming. Max started closing the gap. Lando started outperforming Oscar too. And so then Lando got ahead of Oscar and thus also further ahead of Max. But Max has been hunting down the championship lead. Um, Max would have had to have a really good season, and he has had a really good season. He's been on the podium 8 races in a row, which I think matches Lando's longest streak this year. I can't remember. But Lando has won the last 2 races. And that's a problem because that means Lando's extending his championship lead over Oscar and over Max. Max is still third in the championship, right? So there's to set the stage, there's 3 races remaining. Lando's won the last 2. Max is 49 points behind Lando, and they're coming into the last of 3 races. One of those races is a sprint race. The maximum points you can get in a sprint race is 8, and then it's a 1-point delta down, right? So the maximum number of points you can win in a sprint race weekend is 33 points, right? It's Las Vegas. It's not a sprint weekend this weekend. Historically, Mercedes has gone really well here. Max has won once. McLaren have never gone really well here. It's super cold. McLarens this year are very good at managing their tires, and they're very good at high downforce, high-speed tracks, right? This is very low downforce, very cold, so the tire management is kind of even amongst all the teams. And it's a lot of slow corners, so it's low downforce, slow corners. It was a wet qualifying. Lando got pole in qualifying. He was the last person to get a clean lap, so he did have the best track position, but it was also the first 2 sectors were really good, and then he fucked up in the last sector, but it was still good enough for pole. So, like, okay, it's the weekend that McLaren's supposed to be weak, and there's one starting on pole, but it's Lando Norris, right? So the race starts, and the race start is really interesting because Lando is best known for fucking up race starts from pole. I think he has the worst pole to lap 1 leading conversion of any driver in all of F1 history. So of any driver that is starting on pole position, Lando's the least likely to keep the lead into turn 1.
Damn.
That's largely because if he's not on, it's mostly because Max always starts P2 and Max always gets him, right? And so this race, Max is on the dirty side of the grid. It's been raining all weekend, so the track isn't like super rubbered in. It's cold. Everyone's on cold tires. Max is on the dirty side, on the inside. And Lando's angled to cover him off immediately, right? And so they both get a good start. Max is a little bit better than Lando's, but Max is still behind. And so Max is increasing in speed faster, but Lando's still ahead in position. And Lando swoops over to cover Max off, almost hits him, right? And Max has to back off a little bit. Now they're both on the dirty side of the track, the inside, right? And so Max moves his car just half a car's width to the outside to get slightly better traction, right? Lando keeps it to the inside, runs super wide through the first corner, goes off track, and Max gets through. And as Max comes through, Lando's rejoining, but Max is on a trajectory through the corner carrying speed. Lando's having to turn into the corner too much to come out. He has to correct to not hit Max, and then he loses a place to George. Now he's fighting George for second instead of keeping the lead, right? And so ultimately, George gets ahead of Lando. George starts fighting with Max, whatever, and that's the entire race, basically. It finishes in that order. It's a super boring race. Lando gets ahead of George in the pit stops. At one point, Lando's like, when Lando passes George, he's 5 seconds behind Max. And the team tell Lando, okay, now you're free. Go get Max. Like, we're gonna go pass him. We've got like 15 laps. Like, go get him. And so Lando starts setting fast sectors, right? And then the Red Bull team radioed to Max. They said, Lando's engineer just told him to come get you. Do with that what you will. And then Max started setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. So Max kept the delta right up until the last 2 laps. So it's Max, and then like 5 seconds back is Lando, and then like 12 seconds back is George Russell, right?
Oh, wow.
Big gap from Lando down to George. And then Lando, the TV direction was terrible. We hear no team radio. We don't see Lando Norris at all. The TV doesn't show it at all. But I learned this weekend that if I set up my second monitor, I can have the main feed on one screen and I can have the data channel on the other screen. So I can see everybody's sector times and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching Lando's drop back behind Max. And more importantly, George Russell is closing into Lando at a rate of knots. With 2 laps to go, George was 11.8 seconds behind Lando. And at the finish line, George was 2.8 seconds behind Lando.
Oh, wow.
So Lando held on to second, but only barely. No one knew what was going on. The team radios weren't played. The commentators were speculating that they had underfueled Lando, expecting a safety car. It's a street race. It's cold. Like Lance Stroll is still in Formula One. Of course, there's going to be a safety car, right? But there wasn't one. So they predicted that they underfueled the cars. The cars have to have 1 liter of fuel to give to the stewards at the end of the race for them to go chemically test it to make sure that they're not cheating. And so the theory is that McLaren told Lando to start easing off so that they would have enough fuel to give to the stewards, right? So the race ends, Max wins, Lando's second. That's a 7-point difference between the two. So now Max has brought the lead of the championship from 49 points to 42, which is an insurmountable. It's a huge ask with 2 races and a sprint race remaining in the season. That's ungodly, right? And it sucks because he's brought the gap down, the overall gap from 104 points down to he's now like I think 9 points behind Oscar. So he's done a great job, but still Lando's done well enough to keep that gap at 42 points, which is too big to be exciting. But like still Max won. Interestingly, if Max loses the championship this year, he can't use the number 1 on his car anymore. He has to go back to his racing number, which is 33. Historically, it's been 33. He actually wanted to use the number 3, but his teammate Daniel Ricciardo had that number before him, so he had to.
Oh yeah.
So he chose 33, right? But he said earlier this week, actually, I told my dad I wanted my Formula One racing number to be 69, but he thought that would be too mature, and so we went with 33. But if I lost the championship, maybe I would go with 69. I don't know. So 69, right? And then Max won his 69th Formula One victory in Las Vegas this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fast. Cool. It's cool, right? In matches. Which 69 Formula One wins is fucking crazy. His next one's 70. I think Lewis has the most at like 112.
Yeah, he's got well over 100, I think.
120,
I think maybe.
Is it 120? I
don't
thought it was
know.
in the
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's over 100. I think Schumacher has 104, and I think Hamilton's at like 112 or something.
Yeah.
Is that right? I'm not sure. And we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So Max wins his 69th Grand Prix. Lando's second behind him. Good job, Lando. Whatever. He fucked up the start. If he didn't fuck up the start, I think he could have held off Max for the win, but he fucked up the start. So like not that much, right? But I'm holding on to hope that maybe Lando will not have enough fuel in the car, because if he doesn't have enough fuel in the car, it's a blanket disqualification no matter what, which would change the championship in its entirety, because it's not just Lando DNFing, it's Lando DNFing on a Max win. And importantly, the first half of the season, Lando was real down on himself, and he was like real self-deprecating because Oscar was just like wiping his teeth into the pavement in this championship. And then at a certain point, Lando like turned off his phone and started being more self-positive. His engineer would like hype him up on the radio, real cute stuff. Not, he lives his life in a way that I wouldn't prefer. But you know, he started doing better. He started gaining confidence. And then we've seen that confidence as he's taken the lead over the championship back over Oscar, even as Max has started to do well over the past 2 weekends. Brazil, where Max is a fucking mercenary, and Mexico, where Max has also won a lot. Lando won both races pretty comfortably, and he's been pretty even-keeled, right? This weekend, he was a little bit on the back foot for qualifying, but he still got pole, so he was like, okay, I feel pretty good. But you could tell that he was visibly shaken by how bad he fucked up the start and how uncomfortable he was throughout that race. So he's a little bit off put. Then it comes out that the stewards are looking at their car for skid plank wear. And that's a big deal because if your skid plank is worn down more than what the regulations are, it's an immediate disqualification no matter what. If they're noting that, it's a measurement with calipers. You don't fuck it up, right? So if they have noted it, that's a slam dunk DQ, right? We're just waiting on the stewards to announce it now.
Yeah.
So now it's 2 a.m. I'm losing my fucking mind. I have to leave the bedroom because I'm giggling to myself and I don't want to wake Grace up, right? And I watched the whole F1 post race show. You know, nothing happened there. Then I started watching the YouTube live streams. Everybody's waiting for the stewards to make this decision, right? They caught it on Oscar's car too. So both McLarens have been noted for skid plank wear. And this is a big deal because the FIA came out at the beginning of this week and said, hey, we have noticed the past 2 weekends, teams using a specific tool to work their way around the skid plank regulations. Here's how it works. On the bottom of a Formula One car, there's a wooden plank and then there's titanium blocks, right? And so these ground effect cars have to run really close to the ground to generate maximum downforce. So the lower you can run your car, the better, right? The issue is some cars aren't designed that well. If they run their car that low to the ground, they'll porpoise and they'll smack the ground and it causes injury to the driver or whatever, right? So they have a regulation that your car can skid on the ground, but it can't wear that skid plate down more than, it can't be under 9 millimeters thick, right? So what teams have been doing apparently is the wood and titanium blocks are at the same level, right? But if you preheat the titanium blocks titanium apparently retains its heat really well. So if you superheat the titanium before the race, the titanium expands slightly lower than the wood. And now, as you're wearing the titanium down, the wood is protected because it's going to wear the titanium. It's lower before the wood. And then after the race, when they do the measurements, everything's okay. The FIA caught multiple teams using this at the last race and said they've actually noticed it at the past 2 races. And if they catch anybody doing it, they're in big trouble. And so the theory out there is that McLaren was using that trick. They didn't use that trick this weekend. Practice was super screwed up because there was a bunch of like wet to dry, so they didn't know how to properly set the car up. And then they accidentally ran the car too low and then over skidded it, right? So at 4 or 5 in the morning, the FIA confirmed both McLarens are DQ. Huge ramifications for the championship for multiple reasons. Number one, that brings the gap down. Going into this weekend, it was 49 points for Max to Lando. Max 1 brought it down to 42. With the Lando DQ, now it's 24, which is less than a race win away. Usually people say if you're within a race win, then it's possible, because if Lando DNFs the next race, then Max takes the lead of the championship, right? Huge. Also huge for Oscar, because now Oscar and Max are tied on points. Both one race win, 24 points behind Lando. Behind Lando. Craziness, right?
Yeah.
That also means that Lando successfully closed the gap from race 15 to race 22. So in 7 races, from 104 points to 0 between him and Oscar, which is the craziest run in all of Formula One history. That's fucking wild, right? It's also good for Oscar because Oscar lost points to Lando this weekend. And so this kind of keeps Oscar in the running with Lando. And if Lando's put under pressure, and he showed that he was put under pressure before he was even disqualified with the 42-point gap, he and Max is going to be fucking ferocious. And so if he and Max get in a collision, then Oscar can be there to pick up the pieces. So now we have potentially, if Oscar can pick his form back up, a 3-way fight for the title, right? Here's what is actually important about this skidwear thing, right? It's not just the disqualification and the points, right? What it means is that we don't know how long McLaren have been doing this. They were just caught. They don't test the skid blocks on every car after the end of the race, right? This is the first time they've been caught. Ferrari was caught doing this in China in the second race of the season, and they've been fucking nowhere all season. Because what does it mean if your skid block has been worn down too much? It means in the next race you have to run your car higher, which means you have less downforce. The next race is Qatar, which is a high-speed, high-downforce circuit. And what's more important is that last year, or 2 years ago, when we went to Qatar, firstly, Max has won from pole the last 2 years in a row, right? Additionally, 2 years ago, Pirelli, the tire manufacturer, didn't know that the curbs would be so serrated at Qatar. And so they noticed during first practice unusual lacerations in the rubber. And so they mandated there had to be at least 3 pit stops that race, which is a lot of pits. Usually it's is it a 1 or a 2 stop? So mandatory 3 stop is crazy, right? So the drivers were having to do basically qualifying laps every lap for the whole race. And so it was super demanding, high heat scenario. George Russell almost passed out. I think he threw up in his helmet, genuinely. I think Logan Sargent actually had to pit and exit that race because it was too hot, right? Because it was just qualifying lap after qualifying lap. Max won that race from pole. Last year, McLaren was pretty good. Max still won from pole. Lando got a penalty for speeding under yellows, if I remember correctly. But McLaren's ran well last year. Max still won from pole. But the reason that this is important is because McLaren's super strength all year this year has been tire management. Yeah, they have great pace, but they have better tire management. So even if they don't qualify on pole, they can still make it back in the race and finish 30 seconds ahead of everybody else. Earlier in the season, people were talking about McLaren using water in their tires to keep their tires cool, or phase-changing materials in their brake ducts, like all these crazy things people are hypothesizing. No one can figure out how they're doing it, right? But this year, again, Pirelli have announced mandatory 2-stop in Qatar. That means that McLaren are going to be forced to 2-stop. So now McLaren can't use their tire management advantage to 1-stop when everyone else would have to 2-stop. Now McLaren also has to 2-stop. So McLaren are already on the back foot going into Qatar. Now, because of these skid plank issues, they might also have to run their car a little higher than they were planning, meaning that they're going to have even less performance than normal.
Yeah.
So they could do even worse in Qatar this upcoming week. And critically, it's a sprint race in Qatar, meaning you only have one practice session to figure your shit out before you have to go into sprint qualifying in the sprint and then qualifying in the race. So McLaren are going in frazzled. I feel they're going in frazzled into Qatar, and it's this upcoming weekend. So they're going for it's a triple header to finish the season out. So we had Vegas this weekend. Now they fly across the world to Qatar for a sprint race this upcoming weekend, and then Abu Dhabi the week after that. So fucking this championship has been blown wide open, and I'm so excited, dude. I cannot believe it. Waiting up all night for the FIA announcement. It really brought me back to Abu Dhabi 2021 when the race was over and everyone was like, "What is happening?" We were all waiting for the stewards. Like people were leaking pictures of the Mercedes team coming out and like they were trying to analyze their faces. This year they were trying to analyze the McLaren people's faces leaving the stewards room. It really brought me back to that, and that is like one of my fondest memories of Formula One is staying up late in the evening to see if the stewards like what they're going to do about Abu Dhabi 2021, right? And this brought me back to similar vibes. None of the drivers have spoken about it. None of the teams have spoken about it. No one's addressed it publicly yet. I mean, Formula One have posted about it, but I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited. If Max wins everything and Lando finishes P2, he still wins the championship. But if he gets third in even one of them, then it's game on. If he gets disqualified, if they bang wheels, if McLaren are off pace in Qatar, like it's game on. That's my life.
It'll be fun.
That's my life update. I'm so fucking excited, dude. And it's Thanksgiving this week, so I only have a 3-day work.
Oh yeah, it is.
I only have a 3-day work week, and then I have Thanksgiving, which usually I kind of cop out of anyways. And then usually I go Black Friday shopping with Anna and Ralph because they always shut the stores down to buy them out wholesale products, which is fun. So I'll probably do that too. But it's a 3-day work week, Thanksgiving weekend, and there's a sprint race that could be championship deciding. I'm so excited, dude. So that's my long-winded life update.
Very nice. Very nice.
What is your business update?
So for business this week, I got a bunch of stuff. This was a tough week, honestly.
Tough like
week.
bad or tough like a lot of work?
Just the life stuff. With the identity thefts and the bank accounts and the Daytona tickets really stressed me out because I was like this is like that is literally like the one guaranteed weekend a year where I like go and enjoy life, like guaranteed. And it's like I missed the Daytona 200 this year. I missed the HSR this year. I haven't really done any events. I mean, it's like I've gone on like a half-day trip to Orlando, but it's like I want this thing.
Yeah.
And so it was tough, trying to get a hold of someone to pay the bill and all that stuff. But it was a tough week, but I pushed through it. I kept working. So main advertising I've done, I didn't make that many ads this week. I counted yesterday. I made somewhere a little bit over 30. I think it was 33 or something like that. Because I've been, this is such a what's the word for it? It's a paradoxical or whatever, but like I'm trying to make better ads, whatever that means. And and so I'm trying to research. I'm trying to understand how can I write and speak more like my customer. How can I utilize the AI tools and other stuff at my disposal to help me, right? So I did some image generation, some kind of like graphic design work, some with AI, some by myself. AI's gotten a lot better. It's still challenging to get what you want.
Yeah.
The hardest part I've found is that if you have something common, like you want somebody wearing a hat or someone wearing a shirt, right? There's a billion pictures of people wearing hats and shirts out there.
Yeah.
So AI can pull and get a really good understanding of what you want, right? With the gramophone product that I'm selling, there's only like 7 pictures out there, like generally just of the product.
Right.
And then there's the ones that like I've taken or had creators take, but like that's it. Like the knowledge base is very, very low. And so the bar to get the picture to look like what you want it to look like is more challenging. Maybe the people will look good and even the gramophone will look good, but the sizing will be off.
Yeah.
Right. And so stuff like that. So, plenty of those things I'm trying I'm trying to make better ads, and my graphic design, like, abilities only go so far right now, and I can invest in that skill more. But I played around with AI a little bit this week to try and see if it could help me do some like basic design and shapes and stuff like that, and that I could play with them in Canva and stuff like that. And so I worked on that this week.
Was the AI helpful?
It was, yeah.
I saw a video a while ago. Do you know Alex O'Connor?
Sounds really familiar.
He's a philosopher. He's like
Mm,
our age,
yeah.
on YouTube. He has this really interesting video on why AI can't generate an image of a full wine glass, like brimming and over. Do
Oh yeah, yeah,
you remember this?
yeah.
It was something along the lines of AI can only use what it's been given. It can't draw new conclusions. It can only use what it's been given and then modulate it. And so AI has never seen an overflowing wine glass before, and so therefore it can't make it, right? Even though it understands the concept of overflowing and the concept of wine glasses, and it can make other overflowing objects, it can't do it with wine. And that's because if you look online, you never see overflowing wine glasses. They're always like half full because you have to decanter or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I find that interesting in AI image generation for your ads. I'm wondering if it has similar issues, like getting it to massage it into the image that you have in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the model. It's interesting. This week, through the AI stuff that I've been playing with, and I've been using AI very consistently for well over a year, probably a couple of years, I'd say. Um, and that guy that pulled that short position on Nvidia, did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Right?
Same guy that did the short on the
The housing market.
housing market.
I think I have a theory, and like I'm probably totally wrong because I'm ignorance is
totally
bliss,
right.
but I could be right. But I have a theory about why he's pulling that position.
Is it because AGI isn't real?
No, I think it's because people don't actually understand how AI works. Like,
Mm,
like
mhm.
there are people who think that they understand how AI works, and then there's the people above that who actually work in development of AI and think they understand how AI works, and then there's the people above that who are like really deep into it from day one, and then I think there's even a subset of those people, and those are the people who like actually are starting to understand how AI works.
Mhm.
Like I think that the subset of individuals who actually are starting to understand how this works is extremely small. Like quite literally under 10 in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that what's happening is that everyone is looking at it and going, computer, computer make tool, tool make my life better. I will use tool.
Right.
But um uh Weinstein had a really interesting podcast on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh yeah. Oh no, not Harvey. Not Harvey Weinstein. Eric?
I think so.
Yeah. Um and he talks about how I haven't finished the podcast yet. It's rather long, but he started talking about how people aren't appreciating that AI is more akin to biology than it is technology.
Hmm.
And he said that because with technology, we had things that were truly complicated.
Mhm.
They were very complicated. With AI, it is truly complex. It is complex in nature and how it weaves together. And there are theories, there are best guesses. We can put in prompts or put in images and get an outcome, and then we can correlate what we put into the outcome we get, and then we can improve what we put in based on looking at outcomes, right? But to concretely understand why it's happening the way that it's happening, I think that's why he's opening that short position.
Mhm.
Because I think that everyone is jumping on this as a tool, and it can be very useful as a tool. I think that it's not just going to be like people aren't going to have control over it in the same way that they have today. And it's like I don't even know if we're going to know when we don't have control over it or when it becomes sentient. Like any of these things, like I think that's fundamentally why he's opening that position.
Mm.
Is because there's a lot of people who are pushing really hard and really fast into this, and they think that they understand how it works, but in reality, there's very little understanding for how it works
Yeah.
outside of input equal output.
Mhm.
But if you don't understand the center point of
Yeah.
why that happens, if that center point changes,
Yeah.
or if it changes but it makes you believe that it hasn't changed,
Yeah.
right? Then it becomes much more complex, per
Right.
se, right? And so that was the theory that I grappled with this week because I was like, why would he open a like? He's not an idiot, right? Obviously.
By no means.
And so I was like, why would he open a short position
Nvidia.
on Nvidia and on
Tesla.
Tesla as well?
Yeah.
And but it was interesting. He actually opened it was he sold everything. He shorted everything but 25% of his shares in Tesla. He
Yeah.
completely shorted Nvidia.
I think that
Because you don't like Elon Musk is like,
the Max Verstappen of this.
yeah,
You
yeah,
never really count him out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Tesla's interesting. I always come back to the Kevin O'Leary story where his son was like, "Why don't you own Tesla?" And he was like, "Ah, electric cars." And he was like, "It's a data company, not an electric car company.
Yeah.
Like you can collect an insane amount of data from it, right?" Um, Tesla uh, is Tesla involved in AI development, or is that all?
Well, that's well, it's not Tesla, it's X, and then you have Grok, right?
But is X under Tesla?
No, 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 no.
Got
They're I think did he open was it a short position on X or a short position on Tesla?
I heard Nvidia and Tesla,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure that
Tesla sales have been really suffering lately, really badly.
I mean maybe they're planning to use AI for like road development, like self-driving development. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I
Don't they have those Tesla robots, the AI robots? Maybe
oh,
they are doing AI. Maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
Maybe the 25% that he's keeping is from cars and data, but the 75% is on the AI side. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like I know enough to know that I don't know, right? Like ask the average person if they understand how Bluetooth works or Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or GPS, like basic shit that we use every day. Right? How does your phone light up?
Mm.
People don't understand that. I am honestly, I don't even understand it in its
I don't
full extent.
understand half of it either.
I work on let me tell you this. I work on way more complicated shit in that vein at work every day, and I still can't really like super accurately explain to you how Wi-Fi happens, right?
Mm.
Um, so to sit here and say that, oh yeah, AI, it's just like a large language model and that's it, and that makes sense. Or oh yeah, AGI is just like an advanced version of a large language model. From my understanding, AGI is a completely different thing to large language models. Large language models is the tool, and AGI is a
Yeah,
completely different subset.
I mean, there's some people that believe that if you continue down the progression of a large language model, you will eventually get to AGI
Mhm,
because you can reduce hallucinations to an infinitely small potential,
mhm,
essentially.
mhm.
Um, I'm not 100% sure, right?
Yeah, I think that the one of the reasons. Okay, yes, Tesla does have robots, and I know this. Tesla has AI robots,
Mhm.
and I know this because what's the difference between ChatGPT and the actual real life Terminator?
A body.
It's exactly,
Yeah.
right? And so when Tesla came out with the robots, I was like, the only thing we have to do to absolutely make sure that AI doesn't completely destroy humanity is that it doesn't have hands, right? Even if AI chooses to nuke everything, it's nuking itself too, and it's probably not going to do that, right? But if you give it hands, then you give it the ability to interact with the world. So right now, AI works from all of the data that humans perceive from the natural world and then input digitally to the AI. But if you give the AI the ability to go collect its own data by giving it hands or sensory through EOIR optics or, other visual indicators or even physical indicators, right? If you give it a way to collect new data, then I think that's where it starts to get a little bit crazy because then it's not reliant on people at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it has the potential to not be reliant on people at all.
And part of my theory comes in too is well, I had the I've developed prompts myself that I've used other people's prompts. I've let AI kind of do its thing. I've tried a lot of different methods.
Yeah.
And I probably work with AI 3-4 hours a day,
Yeah.
right? So it's not a small amount. Um, and I've realized that like even stuff that is coming from people who are developing better prompts than I can develop, and have more experience in a given field than I have, or whatever, right? Like Sometimes if you just shut up and let it think, well, you get way better responses.
Mhm.
Way better responses. And everything, like everyone is dialed into how do you prompt it? How do you make it do what you want? How do you morph it into this box? How do we push it into this or this or this or this, right? But it's like I think that AI can genuinely be incredibly creative and very interesting
Mhm.
if you just shut the fuck up and let it work.
When I was looking for contractors, I was struggling to find the solar panel companies,
Yeah.
and so I would ask it, give me as many solar panel companies as you can find in Brevard County, and it would give me like five-star rating ones, and then five 3-star rating ones, and
Yeah.
I would say, no, no, give me as many as you can, and then it would do it again, and then I'd be like, is that all of them? And then it would give me five more, and so then I would change my prompt, and I would say, generate a list, like scrape the bottom of the barrel, find every single registered company that does solar panels that even services Florida. Take all the time you need to think. I want this to be a complete and thorough answer. I don't want to have to go back a second time. I want you to check every box. I don't care how long it takes. And then it thinks for like no kidding 3 or 4 minutes, and then it spits out a huge reply of everything that I need.
Yeah.
And the only difference is that I emphasized it's okay to take time to think and to go find that data.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
and it depends, like, different AIs have responded differently,
right.
What's also really interesting is I actually have multiple different platforms where I have access to image builder models.
Mhm.
So, like, Nano Banana
Yeah.
is a image builder. I have Artlist, I can access it through there. CapCut now has Nano Banana.
Do you have Higgsfield? Higgsfield does video, I think, not
No,
images.
but there was one more I have, but you can give the same prompt with the same, like, uploaded images to any of them,
Yeah,
and it not only spits out a different image, which is to be expected,
yeah.
right? A different image. The concept of which the image is generated is completely different between the platforms.
Mhm.
Like Artlist, like it could completely drop the ball on something, like absolutely.
Right.
And then I give the same prompt, the same images to CapCut with Nano Banana Pro, like very close to what I want. Or it could be the reversal, right? But it's very interesting how this like the same prompts with the same images, it's not just like they will generate different variants of the same image. They will generate like one it completely drops the ball, one will be awesome. This one will completely drop the ball. It'll be like and it's actually it's consistent between platform. Like certain platforms will screw up one particular set of things consistently, even though the Nano Banana model may be the same between all of them.
Right.
It's very interesting. And so that makes me think what code is the platform running in front of Nano Banana Pro,
Mhm. That's
right?
influencing the way Nano Banana
They've
works.
probably prompted a lot. They understand how people typically prompt. Are they taking my prompt and then rewriting it to try and enhance it for the AI?
Because you're using Artlist.io, Nano Banana, not just Nano Banana. You're using the
Right. I'm
Artlist.
going through Arliss because Arliss is the is an umbrella platform that hosts it.
Right.
Right. And so that's what also started getting me think about like, man, I really don't know if like anyone truly understands how it works. Like really, really understands how it works.
I've the people that are supposed to have come out and said, "We don't know."
Yeah. And that makes it makes you question when the people who should know come out and say we aren't 100% sure. And then there's people who aren't as involved in it where like, yeah, I know how it works. I got it.
Yeah.
Like that's worrisome.
It's tough because I run into this at work sometimes. We do cutting edge stuff, and sometimes you get people say like, "Oh, like we are not getting the expected results. They're better or worse. We don't know why. We can't move forward until we know
Yeah.
because we're not gonna like, especially with weaponry, you can't move forward with unknowns. You have to know everything when it comes to like weapons, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so we stop and we will slow the progression of technology until we're like very confident we know the reason that something is happening and we have control over that variable. Um, but what's frightening about AI and like the Sam Altman type stuff is that they're like, we don't know, but we're going to keep pushing and we're going to figure it out. And that is scary because it's like, I don't feel like you're slowing down to figure it out. I feel like you're just trying to move on to the next thing.
Well, it's challenging because no one's slowing down. Like you
Right.
got a lot of companies out there and they're open because the money is massive.
You know what? I actually had this thought. Do you remember the story that I told you a few weeks ago about the first millionaire in California?
Yes. Yeah. He
During-
sold the pans or the
Pickaxes.
pickaxes.
During, during the gold rush in the
Yeah.
1800s, the first millionaire wasn't the person who struck gold. It was the guy who sold pickaxes to gold miners.
Yeah.
And so then that made me think, well, what does AI need to run, right? It needs data centers and cooling. And so if you are a data center or a cooling company, if you're an energy company, you're gonna make fucking crazy money
Yeah.
because everyone's gonna try to make the first AI, right? AGI, right? And it doesn't matter who gets it first. If your company is, taking checks from an AI company trying to get there, you're making money.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a total derail, but interesting, super interesting. What
So
was
you're making new ads. You're using AI.
Yeah,
You're trying to get them to prompt them to make new stuff.
Oh, yes.
Good ads, you said.
Yeah, good.
Better ads.
Yeah, and so it's just it's it's tough working through these ads, and just like really trying to um make them better, right, and get them to spend. And something that I keep thinking in the back of my mind is Hormozy always says uh winners win because they choose to or they decide to, whatever it is. Winners win because they decide to, right? And he says that in regards to like advertisements specifically. Um, and so I was scrolling on social media sometime this week, taking a little break, and I saw this post and it said like day 138 of posting, and it was like the Michael Jackson impersonation from like the 90s. Have you seen this? It's like a live skit,
Okay.
right, thing, and it's just a funny video, but it was the top was date 138, and I'd seen it before, but I never really thought about it. And I clicked on the profile, and there was a ton of days, right? I hadn't clicked on the most recent day,
Okay.
right? And it was the same video, like over 150 times.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really interesting. Is some of them 100 views,
Yeah.
some of them 2.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same video.
Yep.
The same video. And so then I was looking at that, and this is part of where like my whole meta thing comes in, is like it really can be gamble. Like if Meta is genuinely assessing my advertisements based on 10 people that it pushes it out to over the course of 3 days.
Yeah. Who are those 10 people?
Who are those 10 people?
What mood are they in?
And then I question, like, what if one of the two of those first 10 people decided to share it? What if? Now I'm going to see that pushes more spend. But like, what if that's not the best ad of the bunch?
Right.
It just is the one that happened to get shares, right? And because, so looking at this stuff, and also based on a conversation I had with the marketing director, I've developed out a system that I want to try for testing. It's a different strategy, an ABO strategy, where I push money to specific ad sets in a separate campaign at low spend levels just to get some data back. But
Different campaign than the winning ad campaign.
yeah, different
That's the big
campaigns.
difference, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's something that I'm going to be testing this week. And I've had attribution data issues in the past. I thought of this morning, or not this morning. It was last night.
Well, kind of blend together.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and set up the test campaign, the ABO test campaign, as excluding all people that have seen my winning ad in the last 7 days.
Can you set it to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because that way I can ensure that at minimum the exact people that my winning ad is targeting, the test campaign won't target. And therefore I won't get like ROAS split and like attribution data mush, right?
It's not biased one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's something that I'm gonna set up. But some of the the ads I made this week, I made some testimonial style ads. I made some comparison style ads. I made some ads that are really similar to my current winner in style. I played with AI generated content.
Yeah, the new ones that are based on the winning ad look really good.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the main. Like, you've made other ads before that are different ideations than the winning ad that I think are way better than the winning ad, but this is the same ideation as the winning ad. It's just polished, and it looks way better in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it didn't convert as well as the current winning ad.
it tried to spend, but it spent like a few dollars yesterday. And I don't know what it spent it today yet, but
Same campaign as the winning ad.
yeah, right now I'm gonna put them in test campaigns, but right now I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Um, like I was looking at it at like 3 or 4 in the morning last night, and it just like it was at like 0 cents, and then it just like shat out 50 cents, like just immediately, and then like it reached to like 2 people, but for some reason the spend all was 50 cents, and my cost per acquisition was like over $100, or my cost to reach 1,000 people was like over $100,
Right.
and I was like at this point, no one's gonna fucking convince me that Meta knows 100% what it's doing, because that's friggin' ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like today, it's like when I checked just before I left, it's like completely throttled. Like it's not spending anything at all.
Yeah.
Like it was low, but it was consistent yesterday. You can't stop spending anything, and it pissed away this money, and then like this small amount of money, Facebook saw that. Oh, it's like I don't know what Facebook sees, but like that ad cannot be 4 times more expensive to push out than my current winner.
The thing is, it costs the same amount of money to put one ad in front of a person as the other. Facebook chooses,
Yeah.
right? It can put an ad in front of a person or not. It gets a qualified lead and it chooses what ads to show them.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you should judge a product based off of its first impression with a person, with a customer.
Yeah.
If you show a product to one person and they decide not to buy it, you shouldn't throw it out entirely. And the product for Meta is the advertisement, right?
Yeah.
So if the ad doesn't hit that first lead, you have to show it to like how many do you show it to before you decide that the ad doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
What's your minimum sample size? Because it seems to be that Facebook's minimum sampling size is at least one person, if that.
Yeah. I mean,
Some of them get zero spend.
one of my ad sets got a penny, a literal penny,
One person.
running for 5 days.
Yeah, one person. So
Yeah.
they put it in front of me, who scrolled right by it because I'm a 25-year-old male with no kids.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, this ad must suck because it didn't convert the least qualified lead you could ask for.
Yeah. It's just so I'm gonna do this strategy and see how it goes.
I think it's a better strategy. So
I think
to
so.
summarize, that strategy isolates the ads from the current bias data in the winning campaign and then forces spend on those ads to maintain a minimum data science.
Yes, yeah, to maintain minimum data size, to see how they actually perform so I can actually learn effectively.
Yeah.
And then I can scale them. I can try to scale them into the winning campaign once I have proof of concept in the test. And so that's what I'm working on this coming week. I wanted to add holiday products. And other holiday stuff. The challenge that I'm facing is right now I'm struggling to make good ads for the product I know best, the market I know best, the avatar I know best, the
Yeah.
one I have the most information about. It's like the probability of me throwing something together and then putting out advertisements that then convert better than that are low.
What these are holiday products? These are new products?
It would be new products, or maybe one with a holiday theme to it.
A new product with the holiday theme?
Maybe, but I haven't found that one. The only ones that I've found that like potentially can show some traction are just general products.
Yeah, I mean, like my feeling is when you go to a kid's birthday party, do you look for birthday themed toys? Not really. When you
Yeah, it
shop
would be like
Christmas, you don't shop Christmas themed toys. You just shop for toys that they would like, right? So
yeah.
I think that it would do better if you took your current product that you have data on and then did like a holiday spin on it, right? Like if you put Santa in ads or something.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm focusing on instead, is trying to make better ads for that current product, just because like
That feels right to me.
yeah, and my mentors like was encouraging me to like add more products and add more products, and it's like the the advertising is so friggin' expensive right now.
Why does he want you to add more products?
Just because of more channels. He's made good money doing that, like doing upsells for the holiday seasons of other products, and so that's what he's encouraging me to do.
Okay.
Um,
I can
I just
understand the upsells, but you already have you've got the wheel and the template.
yeah,
Tab-
tablet. Yeah, I mean, I have 2 upsells.
Yeah.
And so it's just like the probability of, and I think what I'll try to do is once advertising costs drop in January a little bit and they go down, I can do testing and I can do more building. And it's interesting because I really thought this fourth quarter I was going to try and scale through it. What I didn't realize is that the advertising gets so friggin' expensive because so many people are on their platform that it's really hard to scale hard. Like
Mhm.
it's really hard to super scale. Um, and
Scale profit, not scale
yeah,
spending, right?
and the other thing too is that like if advertising is going to be super duper expensive, and if I'm going to try to launch other products with super basic ads, like my those basic ads are very likely going to get outcompeted by other people who already established in the market, right? I think that's part of the reason why my winner is doing well is like at least it's been established since like
I
February, right?
Yeah, I think that my position on this is what does a new product offer that the current one doesn't?
Yeah.
And it's the only thing is it's a different product. And so if you think that the issue with your current product is that no one likes gramophones, maybe consider using a new product. But I think the general consensus is that the issue here is that the
Yeah.
ads aren't converting. So it's an ad problem, not a product problem. So then the only benefit is having an upsell. We already have upsells. So
Yeah.
we could add other upsells and then not run ads for them. And like only like their ad would be the upsell at the checkout page.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of effort and it's distracts
Yeah.
me from the thing that's working. And so I've
Or
selected to
yeah.
not focus on adding products. If I can't get one to super duper work effectively for me,
Yeah.
like I was really stressed this week. Trying to make these ads and it's like it's excruciatingly frustrating because like I'm trying to make these ads better and better and trying to do research and it takes me a long time to make a basic static because it's like I want the image on the left that I'm comparing to be accurate, but also resemble stuff that parents have commonly bought, or maybe something that's nostalgic that they would remember from their childhood. And it's like, okay, well, like what are 80s toys that like were
Yeah.
trendy for a short period of time, but then went out of style? Like, I don't fucking know that. I have to go research that.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like doing these things and like sometimes it shows potential, sometimes it doesn't, right? But like I don't know what else to do because I've already cranked out iterations on like my base understanding. And so
Right.
the only place I know to go is, well, I guess I'll just try to dig in more because I've done surface level and I've done kind of like mid just blanket putting out iterations and like none of that worked. So I guess I'll try to go deeper and make
Right.
better, but it takes me a longer period of time. And then on top of like promotional stuff and, you know, but I mean, um, it, that's why I'm focusing on the gram phone is I'm working as many hours as I can. I mean, it's like my room is like a fucking prison and um, I just like I just can't work any more hours. And my mentor is texting me. He's like, if you want to launch the other products, like you should do it by like the end of this weekend. And I'm like, dog, like I'm fucking trying. Like I'm working 110, 120-hour weeks. I don't go outside. I don't do like I'm like I can't like I am exhausted. My eyes hurt all the time. I have a red light in the room because if I turn on the lights and I sit there for a whole day, like I'll have a ripping headache. I already normally have it. Like it's like I can't fucking do any more than I'm doing. And it's like I I'm trying to work as fast as I can. And like that like, I had that, like, moment on, like, Thursday, and this was, like, before I'd figured out the Daytona payments, and, like, I just found out my identity was stolen. I was just like, "Dude, this just fucking blows. Like, this sucks."
Yeah.
And I was just, like, super upset because I was like, "I'm trying so fucking hard to make this shit work."
Yeah.
And it's just like, "Fuck." Like, it's like and, like, I'm glad that in many ways, I'm very glad that it's hard because it means not everyone will do it, and therefore the potential is higher, right? But then B, because I'll learn a lot along the way and it will form a great story for the future. Um, but it is definitely challenging sometimes to continue keeping your head up, you know.
Cool.
It's just hard. Yeah.
I have way, way, way higher hopes for the new testing strategy. I'm sure you'll lose money on it. I'm sure net you'll lose money because if you test 100 ads and one of them works, you're going to lose money on 99 and the one that works is going to go on to make money. So
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to suck in the short term but be beneficial in the long term.
Yeah.
Ultimately, how many gramophones have you sold since February?
Um, Oh, I had the number the other. I think it's almost 3,000 actually.
Okay, so there's people buying this product.
Yeah.
So it's not a product issue because people are buying the product.
And people like it.
Have you had people return them? Have you had people give bad reviews? Do you have 1-star rating on Google?
I mean, some people don't like it, but but that's common. I mean,
But
a
I'm
lot of
talking
people like it.
I'm talking
You know,
overall.
oh
90%.
man, yeah,
Yeah.
a majority of people enjoy the product.
That tells me it's not a product issue, right?
Yeah.
It's not under delivering once you get it there, right? So it's not a product issue, meaning that introducing new products is, I think, a distraction. I think it's And I'm not saying that this is where I'm not saying I'm about to say something. I don't think this is where your mentor is coming from. This feels reminiscent to me of, well, why are you doing drop shipping? You should just go get another job. Go back to doing what was working for you.
Yeah,
Like the
right.
marketing person said, because when other people see something that isn't working, the natural reaction is to go to something else because maybe that will work. And that's worked for other people before too. So your mentor previously, when he's had one product that isn't doing super well, or maybe it is, and he wants to add in another product that he can upsell that works for him, right? But the underlying issue here isn't that it's a product issue, instead it's an advertising issue. Like you can make more money by getting the upsell, but you're not stuck at that. You're not trying to optimize your profits. You're trying to be profitable on the ads that you're running right now, right? And so the issue isn't getting people to pay more money at checkout. It's getting people to press the checkout button to begin with. And
Yeah.
that's not a function. I don't feel that's a function of the product at all. I feel like it's a function of Facebook not putting the ads in front of the right people. Because I truly believe that your new ads are way better than your winning ad, regardless of whether the new ads are good or bad on the whole spectrum of ads in all of history. I think they're definitely further along than your current winning ad.
Yeah.
And so I'm I feel that controlling who Facebook shows your ads to, or forcing Facebook to show your ad to people, will result in more valuable data, even at a loss, than adding new products, which might have the same issues as your current ads do.
Yeah, and even to add to that, like, is it really wise for me to add a product that I've never seen or personally verified at the busiest time of the holiday season, where people are going to get it right around Christmas, and then risk that product not being as I perceive it on advertising? I've never verified it, and then getting like 100, 200, 300 return requests.
Well, you also
Like, is
have
it
to
worth that risk?
You also have to make ads for those. So like
Yeah.
how many UGC videos do you have? How many static images do you have?
Yeah.
How many graphics do you have pre-made? How many logos do you
No.
have pre-made? How many templates do you have pre-made? You have all this stuff ready to go for the gramophone, but you're not going to use all those same templates for a new product that
Yeah, and I have some for the tablet and wheel, but like still, you have to tweak them and change them.
Exactly, right. And you're gonna have to make those ads and then run those ads.
Yeah.
And then you could end up facing the same issue that you do right now where only one of them gets shown to people and that one does okay. Not as good as your current winning ad for the gramophone. I think that the emphasis should be on figuring out the algorithm for making more winning ads with the gramophone where you have the most amount of time,
Yeah.
and then apply that to new products in the future. And then you can upsell those. And then you can advertise those and then use each other as an upsell.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's I think I'm gonna miss out on the product edition for this Q4. I can test more stuff in Q1, 2, and 3 when I have more, uh, hopefully more bandwidth to do so. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit of a
Well,
stressful week.
and if you run the new ABO test and it goes gangbusters and you have 3 new winning ads that do as well as your current winning ad, then neat. You've got the time and money to start playing with like product additions.
All
But
right.
until you can figure out how the winning ad works, which I don't think other people do. I think other people get a winning ad and then they just continue to ideate until they get a new one, or they add new products, which is the ultimate form of ideation, right?
Yeah.
But that isn't very push versus pivot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You should push until you've exhausted all measures and then pivot, right? And I
Right.
feel like one of the key measures that hasn't been tried yet is forcing Facebook to spend money to advertise to people to get it to work in an isolated campaign,
Yeah.
even if it takes time to find the data from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, but that's what I've been working on this week. That pretty much sums up my business update, I'd say.
Sweet, dude.
I think.
I think it's a good update.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sucks. A lot of the stuff sucks, but I mean,
it's just, it's just hard. It's just fucking hard, and I need more words for hard. I need more variants on that.
yeah.
Because it's just stressful. Like, I think it's,
Well, it doesn't make sense.
yeah, and I have a lot of debt too.
Mhm.
I did not like anyone rational would be like, you are an actual fucking retard. Because it's like I had debt when I quit.
Mhm.
Um, and like that debt has accrued.
Right.
Um, and it's just, like I gotta segment that out, right? Because it's like I can't make ads thinking about like the money, right? Because it's just like I'm either gonna put something out there that I'm going to feel bad about in the future. That's just like scarcity and urgency driven that I don't want. Like I don't want to trick people into wanting something. Like
Right.
I feel like I should provide enough value to where they want it.
Right.
Um, or it's just gonna stress me out, and I'm not gonna have any hopes of making anything better, right? But it's like, this just generally this week, it's just challenging week. I'm hoping that this Black Friday can do well, and that I can make some good money on Black Friday. It's the most competitive time of the year, but it's also the highest buying desire
Right.
out of customers. So that's what I'll be looking forward to this week and trying to prepare for that and keep my head up for that, run some new promotional advertisements, and just continue to push and learn as best I can.
I'm looking forward to the new testing.
Yeah.
I'm really I have high hopes that that yields something more insightful and more rational than the current trust the winner approach, 'cause I do not like that trust the winner approach. Um,
No,
and that's from someone who doesn't have 10,000 hours in it.
and the other thing I thought about it too this week is how do I even, if I'm doing this trust the winner approach, I am so limited in my ability to make advertisements that are catered to the holidays.
Yeah.
Because unless I put them in a promotional campaign, like I'm running a promo, if I just want to run general Christmas style ads and I put them in this big umbrella campaign and they get no spend, then no one sees them.
Right, and then you waste your time and money on the limit
Waste your time
day.
and money and potential. And it's like, like someone is not going to convince me that if that ad is genuinely like the best ad I can create, that putting a Christmas banner on top of it will make it worse.
Yeah.
And then if I put it in the same campaign and it gets no spend, that's because it's that much worse of an ad. Like, you are not going to convince me of that. I don't care. Like, I don't care how much money you've managed in Meta. Like, it's just fucking retarded, and you're all wrong. It's like that Hormozy joke where it's like the entire crowd is this way, and I'm like, you're all wrong. Like
Yeah.
and it's like eh, that's kind of the mindset I'm going at with this new approach, right? And
Yeah.
I want to see how it works. So
Yeah.
we will see.
Sweet.
But what do you have for a business for us this week? No, this is
This is
sentence.
sweet. It's okay. I've got a decent amount. So starting off, I did my 25th open house in a row.
Awesome.
It was another slow one. It's the slow season right now. There's less inventory in the winter. There's like half as much inventory in the winter as there is in the summer. So a lot less action going on. Um, and we did it in an old folks community. It was 55 and plus, which is the first time I've done an open house in one of those communities. But it was cool. It was a nice house. It was a good area. We had two groups come through, which is better than last week when we had no one come through. So better than nothing. But I didn't have my affiliate partnership packages done yet, which is a bummer because I really wanted to have them done this week. So here's the rundown. Last week I was waiting on like 7 companies to like finalize. I'm in talks with the final 7. I just have to hammer stuff out. In my experience, it's been pretty easy. Once you get an offer from them, you just ask for more information or counter, and then you're done. And then it's super easy, right? So I'm waiting on like 5 emails total. Um, my plumbing company, Drain Mechanics, made a really good offer. He replied in a big long email. I wrote him back. He wrote me back. Everything's great. He's a cool dude. So that is locked in. I got an awesome rug cleaning company. Same deal. Florida Rug Spa. Great guy. Got back to me quickly. I reformatted my sheets a little bit to look a little bit different. Like I started tweaking with the formatting of what I want the canvas sheets to look like. While I was waiting for these people to get back to me. by Tuesday, I still had not heard back from a solar company, so I started to get a little bit bothered. But at like 10 p.m. on Tuesday, I got an email from a solar panel company that said, "Hey, if you get our app and then you refer people who end up buying solar panels, you get a $500 commission." And I was like, "Are there any rules against me taking that commission and giving it to my customer?" And they said no. So I was like, "Okay, sweet." So I locked that in, got the app. So now I can offer $500 off solar panels.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a lot of stress off me because I was worried about the solar panel companies in particular. Um, and so at this point, I'm only waiting on 3 businesses, right? And I can tell you what they are off the top of my head because I've already fucking contacted them, right? I need a water and fire damage restoration company. I have an offer for 10% off. I got that offer last week. I said, "That's awesome. Let's set up a discount code." Haven't heard back from them to this day. So it's been over 7 days now, right? I need an AC duct cleaning company, right? I saw an ad on Instagram, loved the ad, DM'd them, emailed them. They replied. They offered, I think, also 10% off. I can't remember. Everything's good. We're golden. Awesome. Sweet. Cool. I just need a discount code. No reply. 5 days. Still waiting. And then the last one is my CPA. And so my CPA said last week, "Hey, Mason, I don't do discounts because I'm fairly priced. Other financial planners don't offer one time consultations. I would happily do a one time consultation for $300 with your clients. Put me on a package." And I said, "Sick. You know, I'm trying to give them some type of monetary thing. I understand. I think I talked about it last week. If I have to sell this as $300, it's totally cool. I see that you do a range of first time consultations from 300 to 500. Can we lock in 300 so that I can advertise that it's like locked in at your lowest rate rather than your highest rate? Or can we do some type like work out some type of discount with me, right? If not, then tell me exactly what's in your consultation because I'm going to have to put, you're the only person out of 45 companies on my sheet that doesn't have a discount." And he still hasn't replied to me either. So while I was waiting for those 3 companies to reply, I thought, okay, that's fine. I can generate all the logos for all the companies in these sheets, and I can do my formatting, and then I can test print, and like I'll get everything ready to go so that when they reply to me, all I have to do is throw it in there, right? Um, and so that's what I did. I went through and I added sponsors. Um, I had to go through and do the logos manually. So this is what it looked like as the first draft. And I really hated it. I didn't like how they looked at all, individually. And so what I wound up doing is I just consolidated them all onto a cover page. And so this is what it's going to end up looking like at the end. So this I went through a lot of different iterations in my head of what I wanted this to feel like when you receive the package, and this is what I have finally concluded. So when you come through an open house per se, um, I'm gonna welcome you in. We're gonna chat a little bit. I'm gonna ask if you saw the signs or if you found it online. You're gonna look at the house, and then we're gonna get into talks about why you're looking for a house, and that's when I'm gonna give you my pitch, right? And so I'm gonna say, "Hey, listen, Grace and I partner with a lot of local companies. We've gotten discounts from all of them to try to make home buying and selling easier for our clients. If you would like to sign up to be our clients today, then we'll give you this package. If not, if you already have an agent or something, that's totally cool. I'd still like to give you our list of recommended vendors. You don't get the discounts, but you still have the number to call when you have an emergency." Um, Presumably, they would say, "Oh, I'd love the discounts. Let's sign up." Great. Grace has the Google form. They fill out their information on the Google form. This is the presentation side of things, right? And I actually thought about this because I was talking to Grace about it. She was like, "Oh, well, the folder's a good idea." And I was like, "I don't like the folder. I don't know." I started going back and forth on it. Um, so let me put a pin in that for a second. Presentation means so much to me. And I need to have a specific vision for it to make it happen. But once I have that, I can lock in. So, for example, right now, Pauhana is running uh, like an ad event thing right now. The essentially it's a raffle, right? For a $20, you buy a raffle ticket, and then you could win their loyalty program, which is one free drink per day for a year.
Yeah.
Phenomenal marketing strategy. Loyalty program, $50 a month, 12 months in a year, that's $600. So as long as they sell more than 30 $20 tickets, they're making money, right? 30 tickets, that's so doable because the perceived value for the customers is crazy. And it's not like they lose money on it either. Like to break even, because they make money on the loyalty program, to break even, they only really have to sell like 20 tickets. So this is a great marketing strategy, right? And so I texted Tyler and I was like, "Dude, this is a great idea. I would market the fucking hell out of this if I were you." Right now, there's no signs anywhere, or I think as of a few days ago, there might be a sign now. There was nothing posted online. There were no signs at the bar. they took one of the tip jars, which is like an empty peanut butter jar, and they just put a piece of like printer tape paper around it, and they just wrote golden ticket raffle. That's it. It's on the bar back. Dude, you would not know if the bartenders didn't tell you. And the bartenders have been doing a phenomenal job of telling people. They are doing their job well, considering they're not being compensated for this at all. Which, as our strategy showed, you should always have some type of compensation in it for the bartenders, right? Because that's the initiative, that's the motivation.
Yeah.
Miss working with you on that type of stuff. But I was like, man, dude, this could be. And I started thinking when you and I had the Kahuna plans, we were thinking about having like a really big glass container, kind of like the jelly bean dispensers at like a candy factory with all the poker chips in it. And then when you leave a Google review, you get a poker chip with a discount on it, right? But the presentation is what matters a lot. And if they had a big physical thing for this golden ticket raffle thing, people would ask about it and they would be more inclined to do it because it's bigger and larger than life.
Yeah.
Our baked goods business, right? We could have brought in just like plain
A
brownies, huh?
In a tote,
Yeah,
right? Like in a
yeah. In a
Yeah.
fucking like it
Yeah,
could have been a plate with plates with brownies on it, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
When we did our testing, that's what we did. We had like one plate with brownies on it. We asked people what they thought. 'Cause
Yeah.
we had like
And it
50
was
different
free.
plates. It was free.
Yeah.
We were doing it for data collection. We
Right.
weren't trying to get any money from it, right?
Yeah.
But then when we did go to get money from it, I had like a super clear idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah.
And then we fucked with it for like 2 months to get it to exactly the vision that I had for it. But it came out fucking awesome. And like it had presence and people noticed it and people asked about it. And then it felt like a premium product, even though it's the same brownie that you could serve on a regular plastic plate, right?
Yeah.
And so presentation goes a long, long way. And I've had this for my mom and my aunt used to like scrapbooking, and they are very artistic. My mom would like buy like junk sculptures from like the landfill, and then she would like clean them up and paint them and stuff. They're artists, right? Um, I do not have that gene. I can't paint. I don't like any of that stuff. I'm not good at it, but I'm very good at like crafting things with my hands. So like working on cars, especially the Lexus, the SC300, when we were doing a lot of custom fabrication stuff, I really liked it. I was good at it. When my girlfriends would get sick in high school, I would make them sick baskets. So I would go to like World Market and I'd buy a wicker basket. I'd buy the little paper shreddings to put in there. I'd buy a bunch of sick things, and stuffed animal. Like it was cute stuff, right? And I had a very clear vision of what I wanted it to look like, and then I would just go make it happen. And so I recognized that what I'm building right now could be printed in black ink on white printer paper, all on one sheet, and handed to you. That's the most simplified way of doing it, and that's the least engaging way of doing it. And so I am not going to do it that way, but I don't have a very clear idea of what I want it to be in the end, right? And that's where I'm kind of struggling, because what I would like to do and what is actually feasible are two different things. And then feasible like monetarily, right, without losing like hemorrhaging money on it, but then also how long it's going to take to get there, because throughout this whole process, I'm consistently reminding myself, do not get analysis paralysis. Do not make it perfect and then deliver it, make it better afterward, right? So at the open house today, I used the phrase with Grace. I was like, okay, so right now the strategy we have is we have this folder and we're going to have these 3 sheets of paper front and back with the discounts on it in that folder, right? And then we're going to tie a blue ribbon around it. And that's kind of it. That's all we have. And I was like, I don't like it. It needs dry ice. And Grace was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, it needs dry ice. I need like a treasure chest that you open, and there's like, there's lights inside, and like a bunch of dry ice smoke like flows out, and then I lift it out of there. Like, and she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, I'm not being literal here, but like, I need more pizzazz. I need more presentation, right? It's like, have you ever seen the Super Wow guys on TikTok?
I think so. Is those the boxes that burst?
No. So there's this tiny little, what do you call the halflings in real life? Is midget acceptable?
Midget?
I was told the other day midget is not politically correct.
We don't monetize this content. If you don't like midget 2 hours into this podcast,
A 50%.
you probably aren't a regular
Okay.
listener. So
There's a 50%.
littles.
There's a little guy.
We got littles. Should we go on a streak? We could call it with different names. He'll do a Theo Vaughn special segment.
Dude, Brandon at the bar the other day was learning different slurs in different languages, and I was like, dude, you can't. And he was like, there's one for Mexican that's like really mean. And I was like, what is it? He's like, I can't say it. And I was like, Brandon, you're Mexican. You're the only person who can say it. Anyways, so Super Wow is this restaurant fucking regular food, but like it's all presentation. There's this little person with like glasses and he's got white gloves on and an accent, and he comes out and he's got this like big, like bald white security guy, buff dude who opens a briefcase. There's dry ice and smoke inside and lights, and then they lift out a piece of like Wagyu steak. Not crazy steak, just fucking regular steak. It's
Yeah.
in this fancy box. And then he pulls out baklava with ice cream, and then he like cuts it up, and then he goes super wow, and then he hands you the food, right? Fucking does crazy numbers on TikTok. It's a regular restaurant, but there's just a little guy with pizzazz, right? And they do
Yeah.
numbers. They do numbies, dude.
Yeah.
And so I need dry ice for this package, right? And so I'm finding that balance of between dry ice and what's actually feasible. Here's what I've figured out I'm going to do that I think I can deliver in the next week. So here's the whole package. You come in, you ask about it, you do agree to sign up to be a client, you fill out my Google form, and then I would like to have the Blue Marlin branded folder. It's a nice folder with blue ribbon wrapped around it in a bow. And I'm going to hand it to you. And then you can open it there. You can take it home. Let's say you open it in the car while your partner's driving, right? So you open the ribbon, and then in the folder, as you open it up, on the right-hand side, I want there to be all of the pages of the vendor discounts and the discount codes and stuff like that, right? I'm going to get it printed on 100-point back-to-back gloss paper from Office Depot. So part of what I did this week is I figured out exactly what paper I want to print. I learned that I can't print it on the paper at Blue Marlin because it doesn't do edge-to-edge printing. There's always like an eighth of an inch
Mhm.
infill, and I need it to be edge-to-edge, and I need it to be gloss, back-to-back gloss. And so I went to the Office Depot website and I figured out exactly the configurations that I want, how much it's going to cost. It's going to be 82 cents a sheet, right? And that's the cost that I'm going to eat. So as you open the folder, on your right is those 3 pages. And then on the top of it is going to be a cover page. And on that cover page is going to be something really simple and really basic that just says something along the lines of, um, you know, thank you for agreeing to be our clients. We've put a lot of work into partnering with these local businesses. We believe in locals first. We believe in veterans first. And we believe in providing as much value to our clients up front as possible. These are all 4.9 stars, over 20,000 total Google reviews vendors. These are people that you can trust, just like us. If you ever have an issue with a discount code, please reach out and I'll get it sorted for you or pay it personally myself. Okay, easy. And then all the sponsors at the bottom, right? That's the cover page. That's on the right side of the folder. This is my addition for this week. On the left side of the folder, I want a single front and back page. On one side, it's stuff about me. On the other side, it's stuff about Grace. That is the page that introduces us as real estate agents and as people, and convinces you to work with us, not just because of the vendor discounts, but because of our personality too. And I realized that today, when we had people, or yesterday, when we had people come through the open house, and I was like, oh, I feel like if I gave these people discounts right now, they would be grateful and they would go use them. But I don't feel a deep enough personal connection with them to like make them want to add my phone number to their contacts, you know? And I need that. And I think what needs to happen is I can ask a lot of questions about them while they're at the open house and I can establish rapport, but they need to have more information on me and my background. And
Mm.
so even these people who we talked to for 10 minutes about how I'm from Brevard and whatever, they need more info. And so last night I had Grace start putting together these pages of I think it's gonna be 3 segments per page. And the general outline right now is the top one is like general information about me. The middle one is like my hobbies and who I am as a person. And then the bottom one is on just work ethic and how I work stupid hours and will always pick up the phone. Um, and I'm capping it at that. I would really, and the reason I'm capping it at that and not doing the dry ice and big crazy stuff is because I don't want it to take too long to get to clients and customers. And this is a cost effective way of making it happen. The only variable I don't have on lock right now, okay, I still don't have those last 3 businesses giving me the sign off on their shit, which is starting to frustrate me because I don't want to work with businesses that won't email me back or call. I've called all of them. Um, and the folder. I don't know where to get the Blue Marlin folder from other than the office. So I'm going to have to go to the office during working hours at some point this week, and try to get a hand on some folders. I don't know how many I can get at one time. I tried ordering it on their ordering portal. They don't have that specific folder. I want that specific folder. Um, so I'm gonna have to finagle that this week. But ultimately, that is the packaging strategy that I'm going with. My goal this week is to get the personality page finished and the cover page finished. I've already fucked with the I had to show edge bleeding or where I fucked with printing for like 2 days today to try to get it to look right. And then Canva was like, "Oh, you actually can't do it on that printer. You have to do it at Office Depot." But when you do it at Office Depot, you got to change all this configuration shit in Canva and download it as a CMYK file. It's a pain in the ass. But I figured all that out. I have it all ready to go for the vendors. All I need to do is add in the TBDs for the people who haven't locked me in yet or not. So what I'm gonna do is tonight I'm gonna schedule emails to go out to those 3 companies in the morning, and I'm going to continue working on the personal page and the cover page. And then as soon as that personal page and cover page is done, I'm going to send orders to Office Depot to start printing. I'm going to do one test batch order of just every sheet of paper front and back for one folder, to make sure that I like the weight of paper and make sure that I like the way everything looks. And I'm just going to leave the TBDs on there, right? That should give the companies an extra day to get back to me, right? If they don't get back to me by then and I get the papers back from Office Depot and I have the folders and I'm happy with everything, I'm just going to have to strike those people out of the pages so that I can start delivering these to clients and customers. It's going to grow over time anyways. When I was at the open house this weekend, we were doing the open house for another Blue Marlin agent, and she had a business card for someone who does house sitting. And I was like, what is that? And I realized, excuse me, we're in a 55 plus community. This house isn't vacant. People live here, but it's spotless. There's no food in the pantry. There's very few clothes in the closet. There's not like cups out. There's no dishes in the dishwasher. And I realized this is probably a snowbird home. They probably live elsewhere for half the year and then come down here for the winter. Someone has to take care of your home during that time. This guy has a company that does that. Oh, he'd be great to reach out to and add to my vendor list, right? A whole new company category that I didn't know about that customers would find value in. Awesome opportunity to delay this whole process and get another deal with a company and then like push everything off again, right? And so I'm not doing that. I already know that these vendor sheets are going to grow over time. And so instead of waiting to perfect them and waiting for these last 3 companies to get back to me, this is the week that I'm printing and getting things finished and delivered to clients. And so if I don't hear back from the businesses, then they're going to have to wait for the second round of printing. Similarly to the house sitting guy. Um, but that's it. That's all I got.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, good. 25 houses. That's good, man. A lot of houses.
25 open
Oh,
house.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing the sheets.
Yeah.
Bring them in.
I actually ran into one of our clients at the bar earlier this week. We haven't heard from her in a little while. She's had some life stuff going on. But she was like, I'm struggling to commit to things. And so when I feel passionate about, doing house stuff with you guys, I kind of like, hold myself back and I don't follow through. And so we were like, we are just here to help you. We are not here to pressure you. So even if you just want to talk about it and brainstorm, you can reach out to us and you can do that. That's an open channel. And she was grateful. And then I asked Grace, I was like, have you told her about vendor sheets yet? She was like, no. And so I told her about the vendor sheets and she got really excited about it because one of the things she wants to do before selling her house is remodel the kitchen. And I was like, dude, I've got people that will do 10% off up to $10,000. So like, that's if your kitchen remodels $10,000, you get $1,000 off. That's awesome. She was like, oh, she was super excited. So like, again, I'm continually reminded that people want this and this is of value and that the only thing stopping it from happening is the minimum viable product that I'm willing to put out there. And so I've changed my category for that from minimum viable product of the 42 companies or 45 companies that I have listed to the 42 companies. I'm willing to deliver that to clients that I have right now to start off with.
Yeah.
And then, open houses have been slow recently anyways. I really doubt the one next week is going to go gangbusters on Thanksgiving weekend. I could be totally wrong. It could go really well.
Yeah. It could go either way.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't done one on Thanksgiving. Grace speculated that it could be busy because people will be with their families and they have downtime, so they could just drive around and chill at open houses. So we're gonna find a house tonight to reach out to agents and secure an open house for probably Saturday next week. So 2 days after Thanksgiving, and I'll start printing my stuff out and see how I feel about it, depending on the number of folders I could get. I might target um like 5 or 10 different packages to bring with the open house. I don't know yet. We'll see. But that's where I'm at. That's my life update or my business update for the week.
Very nice.
What are your lessons that you've learned this week?
Um, I forgot to update the lesson at the bottom here.
From last week?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, because I copy and paste the sheet,
understood.
and so I forgot to update the lesson from that I read last week. Um, ah, this was a hard week. It's like walking through the fog, and I've been walking through the fog, and still kind of waiting for my spot. Um, and I think just continuing to push and knowing that the model can work and that ads can work. I just don't have the skill set in order to get them to work, or don't have the framework in order to learn effectively to eventually get them to work, right? Um, and so just realizing that, um, like I think the thing that's kept me going, especially, is like realizing that I can, like, the debt and the pain and the suffering right now doesn't, like, the current state today does not have to be the state tomorrow,
Right.
right? Like, it just takes that one last brick along your road to really get to the next level,
Right.
and then to unlock something that you didn't have before,
Well,
right?
also, your debt isn't student loan debt. You can file bankruptcy and make that all go away,
Yeah,
worst case
yeah.
scenario.
Yeah,
Like,
I was joking with Sammy this week before she left.
I mean, it's a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Trump did it 7 times, I could do it once."
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
like,
right?
"Fuck it."
Well, and that's the tough part about the student loans is if you file bankruptcy, it follows you. It accrues interest while
Right.
you're in
Yeah, yeah,
bankruptcy.
yeah,
So, like, the student loans, like, man, like, Grace especially, like, if she can't pay those bills, she's super fucked. My
yeah.
my car payment, if I can't pay those bills, I lose the car, which is upsetting, but it's
Yeah.
not like the end of the world. But, I mean, especially with business debt, um, like, the company can file bankruptcy. You don't even have to personally file bankruptcy for the LLC to make that go away if it's all business debt. The personal debt,
Yeah.
you gotta deal with yourself, but, I
Yeah.
mean, when it comes to assets, like, liquidating, I don't think they would really go after a ton of your stuff. They probably all it takes is one IRS agent to come to your place and be like, "Dog, I forgive you. You're you take the bankruptcy, you're gonna be okay."
Yeah, yeah. Um, but, it's tough. It's a and it's just fucking hard, you know? I make these ads, I do research, I put them out there, and then it's like, maybe it takes me 6 hours to make those, and it's 6 PM at that point, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, like, I'll go and tackle these video style ads instead. And then I tackle those ads, I get the script going, and then it's like 1 a.m.
Mhm.
And I'm like, um, I I could try this. And it's just like, then you execute that, right? Like, it's challenging sometimes to, to genuinely, like, be in that space for 12, 14, 16 hours uh in a row, and just, like, continuously crank and try to not get distracted. um is it's tough, especially when nothing works. And so I think, even if the ABO strategy doesn't work, it's just a general morale boost. I'd like to see my ad spend something, and I'd like to just see how they do.
Yeah.
I'd like to see my ad children die by my hands rather than Meta's hands. And so that's
Yeah.
what I'm
I
going for.
I have felt the same thing with real estate, not in the same vein at all, but in the vein of like, oh, cool. I work I go to work every day, and then I work my body at the gym, and then I work chores at home,
Yeah.
and then I choose to spend my evenings working until 2 a.m. on real estate that I haven't made any money on since May, and I've actually lost money on, and I have to pay my real estate dues. I have to buy a $200 continuing education course mandatory by April. And
Yeah.
then in January, I have to pay $700 to renew my MLS dues because I don't have access to our local realtor association if I don't pay those dues. So I'm actively losing money on this as I'm continuing to work. Um, and it's driven entirely really by the fact that I would rather not make money and find ways to provide value to clients instead of doing the scarcity tactics that other
Yeah.
ad companies will make for the same reason, right? The only difference is I'm I am choosing to wait, and so I am willingly not making money, but you are not in that scenario. I feel that you are doing the work that should be resulting in money that isn't happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a time perspective thing, and actually, I'm glad I thought of this because this is something I thought of a lot this week. There are there are many people in this world who would kill the problems to there are many people in this world who would kill to have the problems you have, right? And thinking about it from the framework of someone from the outside looking at my situation,
Right.
right, has been extremely helpful to me getting through that, right? There are people in this world who would kill to have the problems you have. And that's been a really helpful framework for me. Because in the midst of all this, like I still have an e-commerce business that does generate income. And I have an ad that is working, and I'm super thankful for that, that it's, at least supporting the account thus far and the business thus far. And, I have the time available in order to pursue this as much as I possibly can. And, I have a very kind girlfriend who helps me make sure that I eat and,
See the sun
at least
still.
survive, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot in my life that is really, really going well. And the stuff that is hard is primarily a function of me trying to pursue my dreams, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so, that framework has been really helpful for me to get through this week. And I think that's probably framing it from that end and continuing to push through and do the work and try new things strategically based on the experiences and what you've learned, I think is important.
Yeah.
So that would be my lesson learned for this week.
I'm trying to find the quote right now. I can't find it. I can't remember if Hormozy said it or if Chris Williamson said it, and I can't remember the quote exactly, but it's something along the lines of the most successful people can endure work for the longest period of time without seeing any success at all.
Yeah.
Um, which I feel is applicable to the current situation.
Yeah, it's and I've seen some success per se, right? Like,
It's
the Black Friday offer I put out
right,
seems to be doing okay, right? But
right. It's not
the
the
vast majority of the time I put out something, it sucks.
right. It's not the winning ad success that you would expect to see.
Yeah, yeah.
That I would expect to see.
And so it's okay when we'll keep pushing, um, and keep working towards it. And it was funny. I thought about it this week too, and I was like, I think like it's very painful going through some of this ad stuff sometimes, and trying to navigate all this. Um, and I thought about it this week, and I was like, I would rather experience this pain every single day than have to sacrifice the opportunity of the time I have to work on the business by going back to KSC.
Yeah. Well, that's the
And
difference.
that really shut me up real quick because I was upset, and then I thought about it that way, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's offsetting between I'm going to spend the majority of my time doing something that I don't want to do, but having, a savings account that makes me feel comfortable that if I lost it, I'd be okay, versus spending all of my time doing shit that sucks and hemorrhaging money, but knowing that if it works, then you won't have to do the former ever again.
Yeah.
And that's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's my lesson. What's your lesson? What you got?
Mine's happier.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Let's do a happy one.
I had a good week.
That's good.
So my lesson this week is on highly selective friendship.
Hmm.
And so I'm gonna talk about Johan, or Dutchy, as I've referred to him, because I went to his wedding this week.
Hmm.
Um, and Grace has only met him once. We went to dinner with him and his now wife a few months ago. But she doesn't know him. I mean, he and I met each other in 7th grade, so we've been friends for like 10 years, if not more than that, 15 years. I don't know, a while. Um, but we don't talk all the time. When we were in high school, we would hang out every day at school, sometimes on weekends. And in college, I worked with him at his dad's place, and we would talk maybe like once a month on the phone. But now it's at the point where we text each other like maybe once a month max, right? Around the wedding, we've called each other more often, but um, he and I have one of those relationships where he's one of the very few friends that I could call for help at 2 a.m. and I know that they would drop anything to come and help, right?
Mm.
I have maybe 3 of those, and you're
Mm.
one of them.
Right.
Um, and it makes me when I was at the wedding, um, the first time we saw him, like we spoke with him after the ceremony, um, Grace and I went up and I was like, dude, congratulations. And I gave him a big hug. And I was like, I'm so happy for you, man. He was like, dude, did you see how beautiful Anna, my fiance is? She's absolutely gorgeous today. And I was like, oh yeah, man, like you both look great. And we had a conversation. And then we go sit down and Grace immediately was like, it's very sweet to hear how Johan talks about her, like when she's not around.
Mm.
And I was like, Johan talks about that way with everybody who he likes. He is the nicest he could possibly be when they're around, and then he triples down when they're not around. Like he says the kindest things about people when they're not in the room. Um, and it's funny because then the bridesmaids and the groomsmen started doing their speeches, and uh, the bride's sister gave a speech, like a toast, and she said, Johan's a perfect fit for her. He's absolutely wonderful. He speaks about her as if she's a literal angel who came down to earth. And I was like, dude, that perfectly sums up who he is as a person. He's a great guy and a phenomenal friend. And I'm super happy for him for his marriage and his wedding. But I really value the people who you can rely on without talking to like every day, right?
Yeah.
There are other friendships where people talk every day and then they'll ghost out on plans or they
Yeah.
won't cat sit when you need or like they don't help. And it's made me realize that friendship is defined by the number of two-way relationships you have in this context. Because if Dutchy called me at 2 a.m., I would drop anything that I was doing to go help him. And I know that he would do the same for me.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting frame that I hadn't thought of until today. Because when I hear how he talks about other people when they're not around, I know he talks about me the same way, and that's how I talk about him. I'm doing it right now, right? And I know that if he needed me, I would drop everything, and vice versa. And I think there are very few people that I have in my life who are like that. But the reason is because I don't keep people close to me who I don't think would do that. Like we have mutual friends that we have texted and tried to contact when we needed information and they did not get back to us for days, right? And those are people that I choose to not be friends with. I'm friendly with them, but I'm not like friends with them. I don't have a friendship
Yeah.
with them. Um because I know that there's like not a chance in hell that they would drop everything for me. And I am one of the people that would usually do what I could to help someone, even if we're not friends. And so if we are friends, then you get my undivided attention when you need me.
For
Um,
sure.
and so yeah, thank you to Deshi for teaching me this lesson this week.
Dutchy. Cool. Well, do you want to dial us in?
I do. I don't have a good quote this week.
I had such a banger quote. It's saved on my Instagram though, and I thought about using it for a dial in actually.
What is it?
If you want to pause, I'll grab it, and then we can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, before you do that one, I'm gonna do mine because it probably doesn't fit as well.
Oh,
Yours
you
is way
have
better.
one. Got it.
Yeah, I do
Got
have
it.
one.
Oh, okay.
It's just a quick quote.
Okay.
I knew that Formula One would be a big part of my life update.
Fair.
David Coulthard, who used to drive for McLaren and Red Bull, I think he drove for Red Bull. I'm pretty sure he did. Um, he made this fucking banger quote after Lando tried to cover off Max in turn one and then couldn't make it stick. He said, Lando Norris tried to play Max Verstappen at his own game. The problem is that he doesn't understand the rules of that game. And that is like fucking ice cold. That is ice cold.
Sick.
Okay,
That is sick.
what's yours?
I got
Probably the more fitting one.
I don't know. But
Okay.
You could tell me.
Okay.
So this is I saw this. It was like a reel on Instagram. It's a poem. The poem's called "If." It's by Rudyard Kipling. It's
Mhm.
called the Kipling poem.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I know Rudyard Kipling, but I don't know the poem.
Okay. Cool. I saw this and I was like, this is so awesome. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your wife to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, if you and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and soul to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. So I saw that this week and I was like, that's so fucking awesome. So I saved it. I meant to write it down, and you can
I do like
tell
that.
that I didn't.
I do like
but
that.
Yeah, it's
The end is very. It's like it makes me feel like it's an engineering phrase would be like requirements to be a good son for a father,
yeah.
but it's also like just setting goals generally through your life.
And I sent you the link too
I like that.
for the poem.
I also had a thought this week at the wedding, unrelated.
Mm.
The bride's father gave like a speech,
Mm.
and did like the father's dance or whatever. And I was like, oh, he was like really emotional, right? And I was like, oh, I think I can probably understand what those emotions feel like. Um, not that I could ever feel them because I don't have a kid, but like I can understand the sentiment here and why he's so emotional. Um, and then I was like, I think one of the driving reasons that I don't want to have kids, apart from like the finance and stuff right now, because like financially, definitely not happening. Time-wise, I'm not making that commitment. But even if you gave me all the money and the time in the world right now, I'm still not totally sure that I would want a kid. And I think one of the reasons is that I don't I do not lust for the emotional commitment of that and the risk of like losing a kid is probably like one of the worst things ever. And I've already been through like severe emotional pain before, and I don't want to go back to that at all. And
Mm.
losing a kid is probably way worse than that. Not even losing a kid, but just like watching them grow up, you know, that makes me sad to think about. And so I think it's one of the reasons that I don't want to have kids is probably because I don't want to go through that.
Mm.
And that was an interesting realization that I hadn't made until today
Hmm.
or this week. But I like your quote. It's a good quote.
It's a good, interesting thought too.
Yeah,
Well, very cool.
that's it.
Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Vision 79 podcast. This was episode 87 on November 23rd, like you said. Maybe I'll tag in the date at the end too. A little timestamp.
Oh,
Timestamp.
yeah.
But thank you so much for listening. Super duper appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast and have an excellent week.
I might not be here for the next one because Qatar is before our next recording. We're recording Monday or Tuesday next week, right?
Yeah.
And if Max is out of the championship, I'll kill myself. So I might not be on.
There you go. This could be the last ever Mason Formula One.
They could each be the last one. Any week, the next podcast could be like just one of us on our own.
Yeah,
or none if we both die.
I mean, I could just keel over.
Yeah.
But we'll see, I guess. But anyways, have a great week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.